بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we are meeting for the sixth time, continuing our Hajj and Umrah lecture series, and we are now in the descriptions of the course of the Hajj. As we mentioned yesterday, we started the actual actions of the Hajj by entering Mecca. If you remember, to summarize in brief what we have said yesterday, entering Mecca is the beginning of the actions of Hajj. Of course, you have to be in the state of Ihram, and you have to have assumed the Ihram from the sites of the Ihram around Mecca. For every direction, there is a site of the Ihram. Now you have entered Mecca. The first thing that you would do is do the circulation of the arrival, and it is for those who are doing tamattu, this would be called the circulation of Umrah. It is for them wajib, whereas for the other two types of Hajj, it is actually something that's sunnah, recommended for the other two types of Hajj. The first thing, there's the circulation, and we mentioned some of the technicalities while you're doing the circulations. Some of the technicalities like to do brisk walking in the first 3 rounds, and to do the al-diba', which is uncovering your right shoulder, and that's all for men. These things are not applicable for women, nor the al-diba' or uncovering the shoulders, neither the al-diba' nor the brisk walking. The brisk walking will be at the beginning of the first 3 rounds. If you miss them, you miss them. You have to redo them, or you do not have to do them in the 4th and the 5th and the 7th round. And you start your course by going towards the black stone, directing your whole body towards the black stone. If you can manage to touch it and kiss it, that would be good. If you manage to touch it and kiss your hand, that would be good. If you cannot do none of that and you are far away from it, you may wave at it with your hands, and that starts round 1. And then you go with the 7th round. The last time, or you finish your ihram, you finish your circulation with ending at the black stone. The same start point is the end point, and then you pray 2 rak'at behind al-maqam, the station of Ibrahim, and then you go for al-Safa wal-Marwa, sa'i between al-Safa wal-Marwa. We mentioned, if you remember, do we start with al-Safa or al-Marwa? You start with al-Safa, okay? You start with al-Safa. Going towards you go up the hill, and it is not also may not be applicable for women. She does not have to go up the hill, nor does she have to do the running between the two flags or between the two sites. And going from a Safa towards Al Marwa, this is one course, 1 round. And then coming back from Al Marwa to Al Safa, this is 1 round. You do that 7 times. And if you start from Al Marwa, then you have to go back to As-Safa, but in this case, this round will not count. Upon finishing this, then you have you can either do the shortening your hair, not shaving the entire hair, because if you're doing Hajj, you need to keep some hair to shave them at the end of the Hajj. Shortening the hair, and for those who are doing the Umrah, then they will do the Tahallul at this point. So this is the link between yesterday and today. So this is finishing. Yesterday we mentioned finishing the circulation and the sa'i, going between As-Safa and Marwa. And then if you are doing Umrah, meaning you're doing the tamattu, the type of Hajj tamattu, which starts with Umrah, then in this case you will do shaving your hair, or shortening your hair, and then you do tahallul. You finish your Umrah. If you doing the other 2 types of Hajj, you do not shave your hair, and you do not finish your ihram. You remain on your ihram. You remain on your ihram until the courses of the actual actions of the Hajj will come. Okay. That if you're doing the 2 types of Hajj, al-Qiran and al-Ifrad, you do not finish your ihram. If you're doing the tamattu, you finish your ihram. When you're supposed to assume your ihram again, this is what we're going to start today. You assume your ihram again on the day of Tarwiyah, which is the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. The 8th of Dhul Hijjah. The day of At-Tarwiyah, the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. For those who do not have the ihram, they are in Mecca because they are just finished with their Umrah. They do not have the ihram. They would do the ihram in Mecca. Do they have to go back to the miqat, to the ihram site again? No. They remain in Mecca and they assume the ihram while they are in Mecca. For those who already have their ihram, they are fine. There's nothing on them. They already have the ihram. They did not finish the ihram. So it is sunnah to make to start your ihram before zawal, before salat al-dhuhr prayer, before dhuhr prayer. It is sunnah to assume the ihram before dhuhr prayer, and you go to Mina. So this is the first actions of the Hajj. You will go. You do the ihram before dhuhr prayer, and then you go to Mina. In Mina, you do dhuhr and asr, and maghrib and isha, dhuhr and asr and maghrib and isha. Okay, and then you sleep over in Mina, and this is one of the recommended acts of Hajj, to sleep over in Mina until the next day. The next day will be which day? Which day is the next day? Arafah. The next day will be Arafah. So now you are in Mina. So look at this. I can apply the pointer here. All right. Okay. So on the sub, do you see the pointer? All right. So no, we're before that. Okay. When the day of the Tarwiyah, storing water, then everyone not in the state of Ihram should enter into it from Mecca and goes out. So this goes very quickly. So you are now on the 8th of the Hajj. You enter the state of Ihram. It is sunnah to enter the state of Ihram before Dhuhr. Before Dhuhr. To enter the state of Ihram if you're not in Ihram already. I hope you are following, inshallah. If you're not in Ihram already. The only case when you're not going to be in Ihram if you're doing Tamattu, because you have finished your Ihram in the Umrah. Whereas the other two types of Hajj, you are already in your Ihram. And the first course of action, you go to Mina on the 8th of the Hajj. In Mina, you stay for Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib and Isha, and then you sleep over in Mina. And then you sleep over in Mina. Okay? It is one of the recommended acts of Hajj. Until when? Fajr. You pray Fajr in Mina as well. You pray Fajr in Mina. And then it is sunnah to go towards Arafat after the sun rises. It is sunnah to go to Arafat after the sun rises. So you wait until the sun rises, and you wait until after the sun rises, and then you go to Arafat after the sun rises. Some of the scholars says that you be in Arafat at the time of Zawal. Do not enter Arafat until the time of the Zawal. What is the time of Zawal? The time of Dhuhr. So you remain at the borders of Arafat. At the time of Dhuhr, you are at the borders of Arafat. There is a place there called Namira. In the day of Arafat, the khutbah of the day of Arafat, I'm sure you have watched the khutbah of the day of Arafat. That's broadcasting every year. This usually broadcasted from a masjid called Masjid Namira. Masjid Namira, one third of it outside Arafat, and the other 2/3 inside it. So 1/3 of it is not entirely in Arafat. So if you are in Masjid Namira, a big possibility that may not be in Arafat. But you pray there the Dhuhr and Asr together, shortening and combining. And then after that, you go and you inside the borders of Arafat if you're not there already. So you may be in Arafat, you may go in Arafat and stay there after the sunrise. But you may also wait until the Dhuhr time to pray Dhuhr and Asr together in Namira, which is at the borders of Arafat. And then after that, you remain in Arafat until when? Again, I'm all talking about the Sunnah acts. You remain in Arafat until after Maghrib. You remain in Arafat until after Maghrib. Where do you stand in Arafat? The Prophet ﷺ stood in a place called, this is where the Prophet ﷺ stood. He stayed in a place and he said, I stayed here or I stayed here, but Arafah, you can stay anywhere in Arafah. So there is a mountain there. There is a big place, and there's a mountain called Jabal al-Rahmah. The Prophet ﷺ did not climb on the mountain. He actually stayed in a place which is actually not higher ground. And he mentioned, and he said, I stayed here, and you can stay anywhere in Arafah. So again, so now you start the Hajj course with going to Mina at Dhuhr time. Okay, you go into Mina, that's the 8th of the Hajj. In Mina, you pray Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib and Isha, and you stay over and you pray Fajr. So how many prayers do you do in Mina? 5. 5 prayers. In Fajr, at Mina, when you are in Fajr, you pray Fajr, and you wait until the sun rises, and now you can proceed to Arafat on the 9th of the Hajj. Okay. You may enter Arafat immediately, or you may wait. You may want to wait at the border of Arafat in a place called Namira, where you're going to pray with the large congregation, the Dhuhr and Asr combined, shortened and combined in Namira. And then when you are in the Masjid of Namira, you might be inside Arafat, you may not be inside Arafat, because part of the Masjid of Namira is outside the borders of Arafat. Okay. If you are inside of Arafat, that's fine. If you're not, then of course you're going to enter. You're going to have to enter after finishing the Dhuhr and Asr prayer. You enter Arafat. You stay anywhere in Arafat. You stay anywhere in Arafat. It is preferable to stand at the site of the Prophet ﷺ stood, or close to the rocks, and make the road of the pedestrian in front of him, and face the Qibla. This is what the Prophet ﷺ, this is what the Prophet ﷺ stood. Make the road of the pedestrian in front of him, and face the Qibla, and be riding. The Prophet ﷺ was riding his mount on Arafat. So riding on Arafat is fine. Staying, standing, sitting, laying down, whichever form that you want to prefer in Arafat. When should you leave Arafat? You should leave Arafat after Maghrib. After Maghrib. Should you pray Maghrib in Arafat? No, you should not. You should wait until you go to Muzdalifah. I'm going to come to this part. But while you stay in Arafat, of course, this is the time when you should make a lot of dua. This time you have plenty of time. Do not worry about taking pictures or none of that stuff. You have plenty of time to do that, but I'm saying do not be possessed by this. Especially if you go there from Dhuhr and Asr time until after Maghrib, you have plenty of time. Make sure you take an advantage of this time until you leave from Arafat after Maghrib prayer. So the mentioned dua, the preferred dua to be mentioned. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. See abundantly this dua at the top here. There is no God but Allah, alone without partners. To Him belongs the dominions, and the praise is due to Him. In His hands is all the goodness. He is all capable of all things. So this is a dua that's to be mentioned on the mountain of Arafat. Of course, you make dua for yourself and for anything else that you want to make dua for. So, and then after staying on Arafat. So again, I want you to follow the course with me. It's actually something that's not complicated at all. It does happen that not a lot of people, maybe some people, a number of people, they go to Hajj without knowing anything at all. And they are in total confusion and total loss. It is important to know, and as we're going to come later on to find, inshallah, the recommended act, the difference between the recommended act and the pillars. And we're going to mention some of them now, but we're going to recap on everything, inshallah, before we finish. Right. So now you're starting the course, the actual course of Hajj starts when? On the 8th of the Hajj. On the 8th of the Hajj. At Dhuhr time. If you have not had your ihram, you have to assume ihram at this time and stay in Mina, pray Dhuhr and Asr, and Maghrib and Isha, and stay over until Fajr, and leave from Mina after sunrise, going towards Arafat after the sun rises. In Arafat, you're going to be praying there Dhuhr and Asr, combining and shortening together, staying until Maghrib. You do not pray Maghrib there. You wait until the sunset comes, and then after the sunset, you head towards Al-Muzdalifah. You head towards Muzdalifah. This place called Al-Muzdalifah. Right. When you arrive in Muzdalifah, you pray in Muzdalifah, Maghrib and Isha together, Jam'a Ta'khir. So you do not pray Maghrib in Arafah. You pray Maghrib in Muzdalifah. Right. And then you stay over in Muzdalifah. So you do Dhuhr and Asr together in Arafat. Okay? At Dhuhr time. and then you do Maghrib and Isha together in Muzdalifah at Isha time. Okay? Is that clear? I want to here to make sure, I wanted to point out something to you. The recommended or the required time to stay in Arafat, you have to stay in Arafat at least a moment during the night after the sunset. So if you were standing in Arafat from Dhuhr time, as we mentioned, Dhuhr and Asr together, and you left Arafat before the sunset, heading towards the Muzdalifah, your Hajj is fine, but you left a mandatory act, you have abandoned a required act of Hajj is to stay in Arafat until the sun, then until sundown. You have to go back to Arafat and stay at least one moment after Maghrib. If you do not do that, you will have to sacrifice a sheep or seventh of camel or seventh of cow. So you are required to stay in Arafat at least a moment after sunset. That's why it is recommended for everyone who's staying in Arafat to wait until the sun sets and then leave towards Muzdalifah. Okay? If you leave before the sunset, if you leave Arafat towards the Muzdalifah before the sunset, you have one of the two options. You have one of the two options. Either to come back to Arafat after the sunset, even for 1 minute. Or if you don't come back at all, then in this case, you will have to sacrifice a sheep because you have abandoned a mandatory act of Hajj, which is to stay in Arafat portion of the night. Okay? If you stay in Arafat, again, the ideal way is to stay in Arafat from Dhuhr and Asr, when you pray Dhuhr and Asr together, until after sunrise. If you do that and you hit to Muzdalifah after sunrise, this is the ideal way. This is the ideal way. If you leave from Arafat before Maghrib, heading towards Muzdalifah, you have one of the two options. You're going to have to come back to Arafat after sunset to stay at least 1 minute or less than a minute, a moment, I would say, a moment in Arafat after sunset. Or if you don't do that, then you have to sacrifice a sheep or a seventh of a cow or a seventh of a camel. If you miss Arafat at all, during from the Dhuhr Asr time until after sunset, and then until, when is the last time you can stand in Arafat? Until the Fajr of the day of Eid. You have until the Fajr of the day of Eid to stay in Arafat at least 1 moment. And this is the last time when you can assume the Ihram. You may not be entered, and again, we're describing the perfection or the ideal way of performing the Hajj. As we're going to come to know later, some people, they do the less or the minimum required. Okay, and that's usually the government officials and those people who are businessmen, they call it Hajj or the business class Hajj, when they just finish the whole required action in less than 24 hours, and they do the penalties and sacrificing and everything for everything that you have missed. So you wanna, if you stay in Arafah for a moment from the Fajr of the day of Arafah until the Fajr of the day of Eid, from the Fajr of the day of Arafah until the Fajr of the day of Eid, you have to stay in Arafah for at least a moment. If the Fajr of the day of Eid comes and you have not stayed in Arafah, it's all over. Your Hajj, you missed Hajj. If you stay in Arafah for a moment before the Fajr of the day of Eid, there was a hadith of Prophet ﷺ, when the Messenger of Allah ﷺ was praying, I'm going ahead of myself, but just want to let you know the timeline of staying in Arafah, because that's the most important pillar of Hajj. When the Prophet ﷺ was praying Eid on the Fajr of the day of Al-Nahr, and then he said to the companions, whoever witnessed this prayer with us and have stayed at least a moment in Arafat, then his Hajj is fine. Okay, so from that we know that staying in Arafat, the timeline, and from the Fajr of the day of Arafah until the Fajr of the day of Eid, you have to stay at least 1 moment. The ideal way, however, is to stay in Arafat from at Dhuhr time of Arafah, of the day of Arafah. You do Dhuhr and Asr together, you stay all that time in the borders of Arafat until after Maghrib, and then after Maghrib you head towards Muzdalifah. You arrive in Muzdalifah and you pray Maghrib and Isha together. in Muzdalifah, and that would be usually at Isha time. Right. One of the mandatory acts of Hajj is to stay in Muzdalifah, to stay over in Muzdalifah until the day of Eid, to stay over in Muzdalifah. When you're supposed to go to Muzdalifah? After the sunset in Arafat. Okay? It is recommended, actually, it's one of the mandatory actions of Hajj. As we see here, once he reaches Muzdalifah, he prays Maghrib and Isha. Before he unloads his belongings, he combines them, then he sleeps over in it in Muzdalifah. Okay? Right. Now we are in Muzdalifah. It says here, ثم يصلي الفجر بغلس ويأتي المشعر الحرام فيقف عنده ويدعو. Then he prays Fajr while it's still dark. Again, that shows us the ideal time of praying Fajr. Because some people here want to pray Fajr minutes before sunrise. So praying Fajr while it's still dark, meaning that minutes after the Adhan, it's still dark. It's Fajr time. This is called in Arabic language ghalas. Ghalas is the Fajr time, but still dark. It's minutes after the Adhan. So you pray in Fajr in Muzdalifah now while it's still dark, and you go to Al-Mash'ar al-Haram. And you go to a place called Al-Mash'ar al-Haram. What is Al-Mash'ar al-Haram? You tell me, what is Al-Mash'ar al-Haram? Al-Mash'ar al-Haram is part of Muzdalifah. It's a mountain, part of Muzdalifah. It's mentioned in the Quran. It is mentioned in the Quran by name. This is when the area that we collect the pebbles, yes. But this particular mountain is mentioned in the Quran. فإذا أفضتم من عرفات, when you leave Arafat, فاذكروا الله, remember Allah at Mash'ar. Allah mentioned it in particular. It's a mountain in the Muzdalifah, and it is recommended to stand there and to supplicate, because Allah said, فاذكروا الله عند المشعر الحرام. Remember Allah at this particular area, at this particular location. So you pray Fajr in Muzdalifah while it's still dark, and then you go to Al-Maj'ar. So you're heading towards Mina again. Okay, you headed towards Mina. You were in Mina, and you went to Arafat, and then you went to Muzdalifah, and you leave Muzdalifah, you're going back to Mina again. But on your way from Muzdalifah to Mina, there's a place called Al-Mash'ar al-Haram. You stay there, and you supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you invoke Allah Azza wa Jal, and until the sun, so after praying Fajr, you go towards Mina, and you stay at Al-Mash'ar al-Haram until the sun rises, and then you go on your way towards Mina again. You go on your way towards Mina again. Now we are in the day of Eid, right? I hope you are following, you're not lost. You're following? Are you following, Answer? You following? So where are we now? You don't know where you are. You're at the masjid. Okay. We are in the Muzdalifah. We prayed Fajr in the Muzdalifah. And then we're going on our way to Mina. When we're going on our way to Mina, there is a place called Al-Mash'ar al-Haram. It's a mountain in Muzdalifah. Al-Mash'ar al-Haram. It's a mountain in Muzdalifah. We are commanded, it's highly recommended to stay there and to supplicate, because that's mentioned in the Quran. After that, you continue on your way towards Mina, and that when you're going to collect the pebbles. How many should you collect? But they have to collect all of them. They're going to hold the whole course, because they're going to do a lot of stoning after that. You collect a total of 70 pebbles. Yeah, the scholar says that the size of them between the chickpeas and the hazelnut. The chickpeas, the chickpeas, the size of the chickpeas, and the hazelnut. So between these two sizes, you're gonna find a lot of them. So don't worry. So you collect. Why 70? Why 70? And by the way, you don't have to collect it from that particular place, but that's how the course goes. Okay. Why 70? Because you're gonna have to do 7 on that day, which is called Jamrat al-Aqaba, the Aqaba stoning. And then on the next 3 days, you're going to have to do 3 stoning a day. 3 stoning occasion a day. Each one you do 7. So you will do 21, 21, 21. That's 63. And 7 on that day, so that total of 70. So you collect 70 at this particular time. And you store them with you. And then you go towards, it is mentioned here the dua that you should make on the Mash'ar al-Haram, as we mentioned. It says it is preferable to, that includes this in your supplication. O Allah, as you enabled us to stand at it, al-Mash'ar al-Haram, and see it, enable us to mention you as you guided us, and forgive us and bestow mercy on us as you promised us in your saying, and your speech is all true. Then when you leave Arafat, remember Allah. This is what Allah says. When you leave Arafat, remember Allah by glorifying His praise at al-Mash'ar al-Haram, and remember Him by invoking Allah for all goods, as He has guided you, and verily you were before of those who were astray. So this is what you say at al-Mash'ar al-Haram. After that, you leave and you go into, you're going towards Mina. On your way to Mina, you pick up the stones. You pick up your stones. So again, you said you wait until the sun rises and you go to Mina. You pick up the pebbles, you pick up 70, and then you go towards the stoning of Al-Aqaba. Stoning of Al-Aqaba. Jamrat Al-Aqaba. All right. Jamrat Al-Aqaba, this is actually at the borders between Mina and Mecca. At the borders between Mina and Mecca. So now you were in Muzdalifah. You're heading your way towards Mina. In Mina, you will do 2 things or 3 things. We're going to mention what the first thing to do is to do Jamrat Al-Aqaba. To do Jamrat Al-Aqaba. This Al-Aqaba, you do 7 times. Sorry. Whichever time you throw, you say Allahu Akbar. Okay? You make sure you don't miss. You have to get it in that the big fountain. And you don't have to hit the pole or the figure in the middle. You don't have to hit it, but you have to get it inside. So make sure you don't miss. The scholar says if you miss, then it won't count. Then you have to, you make sure it goes in. So make sure, you got to be a good shot. And you only use the pebbles because some people go very crazy and they throw slippers and they throw a lot of things. So make sure you do that, whatever you collected. And you say Allahu Akbar. And as they say, that the manners or the way that you should do it when your armpits should be shown, like you raise your arm like this and you throw, say Allahu Akbar with each one. And so this is how you do that stoning. Okay, so that stoning is the first thing that to be done on the day of Eid. And that's in Mina. And then you have 2 things to do. You have 2 things to do before we conclude. What else you should do? Then you should sacrifice or slaughter his sacrifice and shave your head or shorten it. And shave your head or shorten it. So how many things you have done now in Mina? 3 things. How many things you have done in Mina? 3 things. The Al-Aqaba, the stoning of Al-Aqaba, and then shortening the hair, and then doing the sacrifice. Who should do the sacrifice? The ones who are doing Tamattu al-Qiran. Al-Ifrat, which is a type of Hajj, that's not required sacrifice. Unless you want to do it voluntary. You can do it voluntary. Okay? Or you can do the sacrifice if there is any penalty or anything that's actually required sacrifice as a form of, as we mentioned, there's a few things of your violation that require sacrifice. Okay? Right. And then you shorten your hair. Right. There are 2 things that if you do, then you will be entering the first tahallul. 2 things that you do. If you do the stoning of Al-Aqaba and then you shorten your hair, now you can do the first tahallul. What is the first tahallul? Exiting the state of ihram, the first stage of exiting the state of ihram. Everything becomes halal to you except women. Except women and everything that relates to women. So everything becomes halal to you, meaning that you can shave, you can perfume, you can clip your nails, you can wear the suit fitted clothes, you can do everything except intercourse or any in the introductions of the intercourse or or anything being part of any marriage contract, anything that relates to women is still prohibited until the entire tahallul, exiting the state of ihram completely. We're gonna stop here, and tomorrow, inshallah, we're gonna mention the remainder of the course of Hajj that will actually make you finishing everything and exit the state of ihram completely. You have any questions so far? The course is very simple, by the way, but of course, if you do it in action, it will be a lot easier than doing it theoretically, than listening to it. And if you're there, or maybe we can get in the Islamic school. I'm not sure if they still do that. I believe, I'm not sure if they still do. They had demos. They've taken the students from Arafat, pictures, and then they actually have them wear the ihram sheet, right? So we go from one place to another. That actually shows you a lot easier how to perform that Hajj, the Hajj course. We're shortening the hair. You have an option of shaving it all or shortening your hair. Okay. Whereas for women, they do not short, only just a little piece, less than an inch of their hair. If she may combine her hair all together and cut off an inch or so, or less than an inch, or she has braids, then she cut less than an inch from each braid. For men, you just shave all of it if you would like to, or shorten part of it if you would like to. Okay, that's the shaving. So you did two things that you do. Make sure two things you do. Then you have the first tahallul, the stoning of al-aqaba, and shaving. What if you did the shaving? Technical question here. Before the stoning, we mentioned that shaving is one of the violations of ihram, right? If you do the shaving, is that a violation of ihram? No, it is not, because this shaving is one of the rituals of Hajj. Okay? And you may do it before the stoning. It's okay. It could be done before the stoning. So you can do shaving and stoning, or you can do the ideal order is stoning and shaving. Right. So shaving and stoning, and then you exited the first stage of ihram. Everything becomes permissible to you now, only women. So you can wear back your clothes, your shirts, your clothes, your regular outfit. You can perfume. You can, clip your nails. You can do anything except women or being part of the marriage contract. So let's go back quickly, inshallah. I want to make sure if there's any. I'm not sure if you can do that. Okay, I'm not sure if that's clear to you. Okay. So one more time before we finish, inshallah. So now we are on the 8th of the Hijjah. One last time before we finish. You are in the 8th of the Hijjah. You enter the state of ihram if you are not already in the state of ihram. And you are in Mina, you go to Mina, you pray Dhuhr and Asr, and Maghrib and Isha, and you stay over in Mina until Fajr. After sunrise on the day of Arafat, you go to the Arafah, and you pray there Dhuhr and Asr together, and you wait until Maghrib. You leave after Maghrib, where you are in Arafah, you go towards Al-Muzdalifah. In Muzdalifah, you pray Maghrib and Isha together. You stay over, and you pray Fajr in Muzdalifah, and then you go towards Mina. On your way to Mina, you will pass by Al-Mash'ar al-Haram. You will stay there until the sun rises. And then you go on your way to Mina. On your way, you collect the pebbles. You arrive in Mina, you do the stoning, and you shorten your hair, and you have finished the first stage of Al-Ihram. And you sacrifice. See how easy it is? So that's everything we have said so far. Any questions? Okay, so we're going to stop here, inshallah. We're going to continue tomorrow, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to benefit us from what we say and from what we hear. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.